occasional unpleasant memory of them, Marshall probably never thought of the Kingstons at all anymore. Certainly not of her. For her own sake, she would so like to put some sort of an end to this unfinished business between them. She thought of it as an essential page ripped out of a book. All these years, she had wanted to put it to rights, restore it, smooth it out so that she could close the book. Just a few minutes to explain was all she needed. Then he could be on his way and she hers. Their chapter finished. Done. She would have to tell him who she was. He would not recognize her now. Even she sometimes had trouble recognizing the rather stunning, fashionable woman in her mirror. The woman she sometimes thought of as Emmylou Fuller. So why didn't she just get up and do that once he'd finished his phone call? Suddenly, as if someone had called his name, Marshall turned to her. The receiver cradled in his shoulder while he fished for something in the breast pocket of his coat. Their glances struck, fused, and held for several rapt seconds before Aly lowered hers in embarrassment, burning with an adolescent blush that crept slowly over her face through the roots of her hair. Good God! She might just as well still be in grade school, still be sitting at his mother's table when he walked in the kitchen door. Say hello to Aly, son. The ticket blurred with the poignancy of the memory, of the sudden vivid recollection of those long-ago afternoons and the sound of Elizabeth Wayne's voice, silent over a decade now. Aly remembered the first time she had heard that beloved voice, one winter afternoon when she and Willie had stopped by Cedar Hill on the way home from school. Willie had taken the basket of clean wash into the farmhouse and returned with the thoughtlessly ironed pieces, and she had helped him hang the shirts and carefully stack the folded things in the back of the big car. Then the Cadillac had refused to start. Elizabeth had come out onto the porch in her print house dress and apron and called to Willie, bent over the motor with her husband. "Do you think the little girl might like to come inside the house? She's probably cold out there." Willie, the family's chauffeur and handyman, had extricated himself from beneath the hood and inquired of the freckled face staring out the backseat window. "You want to go inside, Punkin?" "Sure," she said, scrambling out with her science book, her cold toes throbbing in her loafers. "If that's homework, you're welcome to sit here at the table and work on it," Elizabeth Wayne invited as they entered the warm, fragrant kitchen. It smelled of apples baking and clean laundry. "Hungry? How about a glass of milk and a piece of apple pie?" Aly had nodded and sat down at the oilcloth-covered table, partly piled with stacks of folded laundry. Soon a large slice of flaky pie and a glass of milk were set before her. Her stomach began to clamor. Slowly, her eyes on the pie, she removed her coat while Elizabeth went back to her ironing. Aly rarely ate anything. She didn't care for the food at home, and the cafeteria lunches at school were even more unappealing. She had lived with hunger so long she was no longer conscious of it. That afternoon, she ate the pie and drank the milk so fast she was ashamed of herself. Marshall's mother would think they starved her at home. Her stomach ached later, but only because it had never been so full. After that, the kitchen at Cedar Hill became her favorite place in all the world, and Elizabeth Wayne, her favorite person. Every anxiety faded away the moment she set foot on the linoleum floor and sat down at the oilcloth-covered table with her homework. Always there was something good to eat and the warm comfort of Elizabeth's presence nearby. She had never known anyone as kind as Elizabeth, not even her grandmother, who in certain moods had a tongue like a lash and an eye as piercing as a stiletto. Such moods seemed inconceivable in Elizabeth. Her voice was gentle, and her eyes too peaceful ever to possess such a look. They were the same soft brown as her hair, which she wore away from her face in a bun. Aly thought Elizabeth's hands were the loveliest she had ever seen. Their only adornment was a